the Bitcoin price is moving further in the direction that we've been covering in this channel for quite some time now. And the interesting thing about it is that no one could hate, no one could trip on Bitcoin because it all makes sense. And I'm gonna show you guys exactly what I'm talking about, why this is such an important um trading structure, and why this is actually a good thing that we're seeing the price come down in the momentum that it's coming down, where it's coming down very slowly, but it's still showing signs that we're gonna get better discounted prices soon to create an overall healthier structure. So to get started, there was actually this is actually very interesting. Real quick, I'm gonna also mention some stuff that's not involving Bitcoin. I'll probably get that out the way real quick. But BlackRock's Bitcoin stash is now worth $72 billion, which is very amazing. 3.44% of the current BTC in circulation. So that's very, very cool actually to see that happen. It's BlackRock's, they don't just throw money into new stuff like this unless they really believe in it. So that's amazing to see them really show support for Bitcoin. I think BlackRock owns a good amount of Mara stock too. I'm not really sure. Something maybe we can look at in the future. But real quick, I actually did buy. I'm not gonna really go into it too much because it doesn't really have to do with Bitcoin. The whole purpose is Bitcoin. But I did buy UVXY. I'll show you guys that real quick. UVXY. I bought UVXY because I mentioned previously and then a while back that the VIX is really, really low, and eventually, especially with a lot of this global um macro kind of like tension, war and all that, it's I wouldn't be surprised if this popped. Like, we've seen crude oil popping a lot, and we're gonna probably start to see the S&P begin to dip, have a somewhat of a retracement, and that's probably going to cause VIX to pop up, which then would let UVXY pop as well. And very, very interesting. I bought $10,000 worth of it, so like 470 shares of it. And then I also bought BRKB, Berkshire Hathaway B shares, because seeing BRKB go down 10% from its high, it's crazy. I love it. So I bought some $10,000 worth of that one as well. But here's the thing, right? With Bitcoin, I kept saying this in multiple videos because we kept moving sideways for a while, and then last night I said we're in this triangle pattern. Eventually, we'll have a breakout structure to one direction. Ideally, we will like it to come down so we can finally fill in this purple area. But if it breaks up, then we're just looking at the price to allow the price to flirt with a 120 moving average, so break up from the smaller picture triangle. It will also allow the price to max out the RSI, which actually it maxed out on a very weird pattern. It's very interesting. It's actually quite bearish in my opinion. It's just because I never really seen that before. But also it would allow the price to retest the yellow retracement area one more time, because we had enough momentum to reach it, and then it was very weak. So I'm like, I wouldn't be, whatever happens is going to happen. In my opinion, I wouldn't be surprised if we just go up in this area, try to max it out a little bit more before we come down lower. And then I said, well, if we max it out too much and we break over it, then we'll look at creating new support levels for a potential a potential confirmation that the low is in. But if we hold within it, which is more ideal, because if we can find weakness to allow the price to come down into the purple, we can repeat something I've talked about so much. I've talked about this so much. But it's a 2024 structure where we have deep value Bitcoin at the time, a rally that breaks previous resistances, and then a proper retracement before the big, amazing next leg up. And that's going to be very similar now, deep value being 80K minimum, 80K and below. And then we had a rally that broke previous resistances. And then I said this so much, so I'm trying to get through it real quick. And then in current time, the proper retracement will be purple. It's not orange, it's purple, because in my opinion that's deep value, for a lot of reasons. I explained it in previous videos. And then the next leg up will be trying to see how far up we can go into this green. But at a minimum, we should break the 1.223 the 1.23 6 extension at $128,000 is at a minimum. Um, break that one, and then after that, we'll keep eyes on any weakness as we go over that. I can't speak. Jeez. Okay, so here's the thing, right? We found resistance. We can't really 100% rely on these. That's why we have other measurements to allow us to you know, have proper risk management and know when there's signs if we want to maybe get more exposure or get out. But regardless, everything is happening as anticipated, in my opinion. So we finally broke that 0.5. We found resistance, and now we're breaking down. And then, like I said in yesterday's video, if we break this swing low, I wouldn't be surprised if we start to build momentum to then break, this one, and then finally retest the 100.4k, 100,400k support. I mean support. If I said resistance, I'm sorry, but break the support. Very likely we'll break below 100k, and then finally start trading within the purple, which I am planning to add to my overall swing position for Bitcoin using BitU at those levels. I want to add more to those levels. I want to add quite aggressively as well, because I really like those prices currently where we are. And then maybe with a lot of the macro and global stuff, maybe that would force the Bitcoin prices to finally come down into deep value support before we can go much higher into the green. But so far, we do have signs that, hey, we broke this swing low. We broke this swing low. We're consolidating. It broke down, and it didn't overextend the RSI to the downside. So that's very interesting. And I said I want to start opening shorts when we break this. So now here's what I'm going to do. I couldn't open it. I wasn't paying attention. I just opened up UVXY and BRKB. But the thing is, I wouldn't be surprised if we just continue this with time. And, we got to wait over the weekend, or we watch Bitcoin do its thing. And then when the new week's trading volume kicks in, and we'll see the price actually make bigger moves. But we'll keep an eye on it. And then if we're still showing bearish momentum, which I strongly believe we will be, then we can let I'll be taking a bearish short position. But if for some reason, due to correlation stuff, because this is all kind of fresh still, I'm also gonna be looking for warning signs that if the overall market's falling, rather not. I mean, we're probably gonna see money flow into maybe silver and gold, probably, and probably some bonds. But I want to watch very closely to see if the market sell-off will cause money to flow into Bitcoin due to this difference in correlation we've been seeing in a while. But right now the direction is down. Right now, current smaller picture resistance is, of course, we don't want to see the price break above the 120 moving average and hold above it. Especially, more importantly, I personally don't want to see 106.5k being broken. The moment we break this, maybe we're looking at some weird fluctuations. We'll have to analyze it then, but it's not happening at the moment. It's if that happens. So I'm keeping an eye on previous swing high. We want to stay below this. We also want to stay below somewhat. I mean, there's probably a better one in the bigger picture, but we do have a descending resistance. At the same time, we understand that these retracements do a really good job, and we don't want to, shy away from these. These act as very strong. I mean, it proved itself here, it proved itself here, it proved itself here, it proved itself in so many other times. So strong resistance. Even though if we go back into 105k, the idea is it's fine if it breaks over the 120 moving average. But the thing is, we don't want to see. There's two things we want to look at. We don't want to see the price break below or over the swing high of 106.5k. And then the second thing is, when this happens, if we go up and we break back into 105k, we're still below this descending resistance. But I want to see the RSI very much overextended, before we even retest the swing high. So these are just signs I'm looking at for whether or not the bears are still holding strong, or if there's going to be a shift, at least in the short term. But as of right now, we broke the swing low. We even broke this one very briefly. So now, regardless of what happens over the weekend, we go up a little bit and then come back down. Regardless, I don't care what happens. The idea is that we are just going to be overall moving down further down. until we eventually bottom out, or at least get into deep value. And again, we have a lot of global stuff happening that could push this lower as well. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this super lot of cautions, a lot of cautiousness for anyone being overly optimistic to the long side short term on Bitcoin. That's pretty much it. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.